Drones have been part of warfare for many years, with early versions appearing as far back as World War II. But in the Ukraine conflict, their use has skyrocketed, transforming drones into a key component of modern warfare. Initially, the use of smaller drones was hit or miss. However, as the war progressed, both Ukraine and Russia have integrated these UAVs into their military operations in a very organized way. And we are not talking about million-dollar drones like the ones used by the United States to hunt terrorist targets in the Middle East. Here, we are talking about drones as inexpensive as $500 that can effectively take out expensive artillery pieces or tanks worth millions of dollars. These are the FPV drones. Originally made for hobbyists and commercial use, and together with the strike drones, they are now revolutionizing military strategies and tactics on a global level. Let's see what these drones are. FPV stands for first-person view, which means the pilot controls the drone via a video feed from the drone's onboard camera, creating an immersive piloting experience. In combat scenarios, they often carry explosives such as RPG projectiles or thermobaric charges. They are designed to crash into their targets, making them single-use weapons. Upon reaching the target, the drone and its payload are destroyed, ensuring the explosives reach their intended destination. The strike drones used in the war are common commercial models from brands like DJI, such as the Mavic 3 and Matrice 300 RTK, which have been modified to carry and release explosives. The modifications involve using a release device, often referred to as a drone thrower or drone drop kit. These kits enable the drones to drop various types of munitions, including hand grenades, mortar shells, or 40mm grenades. But why did they start using these drones? Early in the conflict, Ukraine used larger drones such as the Turkish TB2 Bayraktar effectively. These drones could carry multiple munitions and conduct long missions, penetrating Russian air defenses. But as Russia improved its air defenses, these larger drones became easier to shoot down. In response, Ukraine shifted to using smaller drones, which are harder to detect and destroy. The tiny, inexpensive FPV drone has proved to be one of the most potent weapons in this war, where conventional warplanes are relatively rare because of a dense concentration of anti-aircraft systems near front lines. These drones offer significant tactical advantages, including improved survivability, cost-effectiveness, and the ability to perform a variety of missions ranging from reconnaissance to direct attacks. Just a quick moment before we unveil the rest. If you're new here, consider subscribing to this channel. Stay up to date and never miss out on the latest insights. And now, let's go on. To show the cost-effectiveness and versatility of these drones, let's look at some real-world examples. For instance, a DJI Mavic 3 drone can cost between $1,500 to $2,100. An FPV drone, depending on its size, model, and technology, ranges from $400 to $1,300. Adding explosives can cost between $100 and $500. In August 2023, a video released by the Command of the Airborne Assault Forces of the Armed Forces of Ukraine showed a Ukrainian attack drone taking down a Russian T-90 tank, which costs between $4 to $7 million. The drone struck the tank after it had fallen off a cliff, resulting in its total destruction. Similarly, in February 2024, the press service of the 14th Separate Mechanized Brigade released footage of an FPV drone hitting a Russian Tor M2 air defense system in the Kupiansk sector. A Tor missile system costs around $25 to $26 million, which could buy and equip up to 17,000 FPV drones. The cost difference is astronomical, highlighting the incredible cost-effectiveness of using FPV drones in modern warfare. Let's now see what they can do and how they are used. High-quality FPV drones can reach impressive speeds between 80 and 130 kilometers per hour. Their agility allows them to maneuver in any direction, and their small size and low noise output make them stealthy and hard to detect. Even at distances of 400 meters, spotting these drones is a challenge for the naked eye. The flight range of drones varies by model and conditions. For instance, a DJI Mavic 3 can fly up to 14 kilometers, and 7 kilometers each way. Advanced FPV drones designed for one-way trips can cover distances of 5 to 13 kilometers, while more economical models range from 2 to 4 kilometers. FPV drone pilots often operate close to the front lines. They use remote controls with joysticks and virtual reality goggles for an immersive flight experience. Many customize their equipment to enhance signal transmission and control. The explosives used by drones vary widely. They can carry hand grenades, mortar projectiles, 40mm grenades, Molotov cocktails, modified bomblets, and even sub-munitions from artillery projectiles or cluster bombs. These explosives are chosen based on the target, ensuring maximum effectiveness. In team operations, FPV drone pilots work with a driver and a reconnaissance drone pilot. They often use low-quality cameras to avoid detection by electronic warfare systems. Once in position, they attach explosives to the drone with tape and hardware, and the attack drone operator uses a VR headset to navigate and strike the target. Despite their effectiveness, these drones have several vulnerabilities that limit their operational capabilities. One of the major weaknesses is their susceptibility to electronic warfare, EW, and jamming. While the terms are often used interchangeably, they refer to different aspects of disrupting drone operations. EW encompasses a broad range of tactics and technologies aimed at controlling the electromagnetic spectrum. This includes jamming, but also extends to other methods such as electronic surveillance, electronic attack, and electronic protection. EW can involve more sophisticated techniques like spoofing, that is sending false signals to mislead the drone, and electronic masking, that means making communications harder to detect. Jamming is a specific type of electronic warfare that focuses on emitting signals on the same frequency as the drone's control or communication systems. This interference disrupts the link between the drone and its operator, causing the drone to lose control or become unresponsive. Jamming is typically more straightforward and involves overwhelming the target signal with noise or false information. Both Ukrainian and Russian forces employ EW systems extensively, leading to a constant technological arms race to maintain drone operability. As each side develops more sophisticated jamming techniques, the other must enhance its drone communication technologies to maintain effectiveness. These drones are also vulnerable to air defenses. Indeed, despite their small size and agility, they can be targeted by anti-aircraft guns and missiles. However, the cost of intercepting a drone with a missile is much higher than the cost of the drone itself, which makes them economically advantageous for the attackers. This cost disparity makes targeting the operators of these drones a more attractive option. Experienced operators who survive can pilot multiple FPV drones against various targets, making them high-priority targets for both sides. As mentioned earlier, these drones typically have a short operational range, usually up to 10 kilometers. This limitation restricts their deployment to relatively close-range targets, necessitating that operators remain within a certain distance of the front lines. This proximity can expose operators to enemy fire and counterattacks. Another vulnerability of these drones is their fragility. Built with lightweight materials to maximize speed and maneuverability, these drones can be easily damaged by impacts or harsh environmental conditions. Adverse weather conditions such as strong winds, rain, or extreme temperatures can impair their performance and stability. These environmental factors can lead to mission failures and loss of equipment. The lightweight construction of FPV drones, while advantageous for agility, makes them susceptible to damage from collisions and rough handling. This fragility necessitates careful handling and limits their operational lifespan. Additionally, FPV drones are designed for one-time use, exploding on impact. While this makes them effective for delivering explosive payloads, it also means that each drone is expended in a single mission. Continuous production and deployment are essential to sustain their use on the battlefield, requiring a steady supply of materials and assembly efforts. And this has posed significant challenges. In April 2022, DJI, a major drone manufacturer, suspended all business activities in Russia and Ukraine, stressing its products are for civilian use only. Despite this, both Ukrainian and Russian forces continued using existing DJI drones. Technicians in both countries used older DJI software to bypass the new restrictions, adapting and modifying these commercial drones for military purposes to maintain their effectiveness in combat. Additionally, in September 2023, China imposed export control restrictions on drones and related equipment, further complicating DJI's ability to supply components internationally and impacting resupply efforts. Faced with DJI's restrictions, both Ukraine and Russia shifted towards producing their own drones. This change was essential to maintain and enhance their drone capabilities independently. In Ukraine, grassroots initiatives have been crucial alongside official military efforts. Volunteers, hobbyists, and tech enthusiasts have played significant roles in building and modifying drones for military use. This community-driven effort has resulted in a diverse range of UAVs tailored to various combat needs. An example? Aerorozvidka, a group of volunteers, including IT experts and non-experts, who create military drones by modifying commercially available drones found in Ukrainian markets. Heavily reliant on crowdfunding, they started by converting off-the-shelf drones like DJI, Autel, and French Parrot models into militarized versions. Over time, they advanced to designing their drones, such as the R-18 octocopter, which has a range of 2.5 miles, a flight duration of 40 minutes, and the capacity to transport 11-pound bombs. Another significant initiative is the Army of Drones program, led by Mykola Fedorov from the Ministry of Digital Transformation of Ukraine. This program focuses on acquiring parts, spare parts, and complete drones through donations, bolstering the capabilities of the Ukrainian military forces. Talking about production, in December 2023, Ukraine produced around 50,000 drones, and in early 2024, production averaged over 100,000 per month. This massive production effort is aimed at reaching President Zelensky's goal of 1 million drones in 2024. Russia has also made strides in drone technology, although their approach has been more centralized. The Hortensia 10 is a notable Russian FPV drone, with hundreds delivered to the Vostok troop group by the end of December 2023. This model has a payload capacity of 5 kilograms. Another advancement is the night version of the Gastello FPV drone, equipped with an advanced night vision camera for operations in low-light conditions. In Russia, drone production is more centralized, which can bring economies of scale. However, this centralization also has significant drawbacks, such as high bureaucracy and corruption. These issues have likely contributed to the decline in the effectiveness of Russia's FPV drone efforts. A major producer is the Pseudo-Platov Group, a volunteer brigade that transformed into a drone-making startup. This group now receives funding from the Russian Ministry of Defense to produce drones. In December 2023, Pseudo-Platov claimed to be producing 1,000 FPV drones per day, a claim supported by imagery of their production process. As we look to the future, the evolution of the Ukraine conflict remains uncertain, but what is clear is that the landscape of warfare has been fundamentally altered by the widespread use of FPV drones. These drones have proven to be game changers on the battlefield, providing cost-effective and versatile options for both reconnaissance and direct attacks. Indeed, FPV drones, initially popularized in the Ukraine conflict, are now being adopted worldwide by various groups, including military forces, criminal organizations, and insurgent groups. Armies around the globe have begun incorporating FPV drones into their arsenals. These drones provide critical advantages in terms of reconnaissance, targeting, and precision strikes. For example, in Syria, the Assad regime, supported by Russia and Iran, has been using FPV suicide drones extensively. In regions like Mexico and Colombia, criminal groups have started to utilize drones for various illicit activities. These drones are used for smuggling drugs, conducting surveillance, and even carrying out targeted attacks. Insurgent groups across Africa, the Middle East, and Asia are also leveraging FPV drone technology. For instance, Hamas in Gaza has significantly enhanced its capabilities using drones, supported by Iran. The rapid proliferation of drone technology, driven by advancements in autonomy, control range, and payload capacity, has made these tools accessible to a wide range of actors beyond traditional military forces. This trend underscores the need for enhanced counter-drone measures and international cooperation to mitigate the risks associated with the misuse of drone technology. In summary, while we cannot predict how the conflict in Ukraine or the global use of FPV drones will evolve, one thing is certain. The advent of these drones has changed the face of modern warfare, and their impact will be felt far beyond the battlefields of Ukraine.